The city of Corpus Christi made a move during this week's City Council meeting to make sure our first responders can communicate more effectively with others throughout the region, something that also means quicker response times. The resolution passed during yesterday's City Council meeting without much fanfare, but it allows the city to join surrounding communities and even the RTA and Port of Corpus Christi Authority to develop a master plan for a public safety radio system. Peter Collins is the IT director for the city and says the coalition would help in instances of a major emergency when outside assistance is needed.
And this is not a technology issue. It's really a relationship issue. It was about time to form these relationships with the other radio systems in the area. If we have a hurricane or we have mass evacuations, our goal is to have communications all the way up to San Antonio.
He says there's no cost at this point for the city aside from their daily operation costs. And